Welcome, all my dear student of SYBC physics class. Today we are going to start new chapter, that is chapter number 2 of physics paper second, optics. The chapter second is lens aberration. What is aberration? This is very important point for exam point of view also, and when we are going to study the images formed by lenses at that time, when the images are formed by lenses or glasses, at that time aberration plays very important role. The departure or deviation produced in the actual image produced by a lens from the ideal image predicted by simple theory of image formation are called aberration. I am going to tell you about aberration. What is aberration? The departure or deviation produced in the actual image produced by the lens from the ideal image predicted by simple theory of image formation are called aberration. Aberration are responsible for the formation of imperfect image by the lens or mirrors. So we can define aberration in a simple manner. In a single sentence we can define aberration as the defect in the image formed by the mirrors or lenses are known as aberration. What is aberration? The defects in the image formed by mirrors or lenses are known as what? Aberration. Are you got it? Very simple definition. The defects in the image formed by the mirrors or lenses are known as aberration. Aberrations are grouped into two classes. Monochromatic aberration. First group, monochromatic aberration. And second group, chromatic aberration. Okay, what is chrome? Chrome is a Latin word. Chrome means color. Chrome means color, Latin word. And mono means single. Monochromatic means a light of single color or a light having single wavelength. For example, sodium vapor lamp, which produce yellow color, which is having single wavelength. Okay. And chromatic, that means colorful. So aberrations are grouped into two classes. One of them is monochromatic aberration and second class is chromatic aberration. Now we are going to see monochromatic aberration. What is monochromatic aberration? Or what are the monochromatic aberration? Monochromatic aberration. What is monochromatic aberration? The aberration produced due to non-paraxial rays are called monochromatic or saddle aberration. There are two types of rays, marginal rays and paraxial rays. Marginal rays are very close to principal axis. Okay, paraxial rays and marginal rays are away from the principal axis. These are the paraxial rays and these are the marginal rays. Okay. Now what I say, non-paraxial. That means the rays like this. Non-paraxial. That means marginal rays. The aberration produced due to marginal rays or non-paraxial rays. That means due to these rays are called as monochromatic or another name saddle aberration. Now monochromatic aberrations are further classified as spherical aberration. Monochromatic aberrations are further classified. That's the type of monochromatic aberration. First, spherical aberration. Second one is coma or chromatic aberration. Third one is astigmatism. Next, fourth one is curvature of field. And last one, fifth one is distortion. These are the aberrations comes under monochromatic aberration group. Okay. Now we are going to see one by one. First of all, we are going to see monochromatic aberration. Sorry, spherical aberration. Spherical aberration. See here, what is spherical aberration? And how these aberrations are produced. In a single sentence, we can define spherical aberrations. See here, there is a simple definition. A failure of the image, a failure of the lens to form a point object of a point, the failure of a lens to form a point image of a point object is called spherical aberration. Suppose this is the lens. Okay. Now this is the principal axis. Now on this lens, suppose these are the marginal rays incident on the lens, and these are the paraxial rays. These are the paraxial rays, and these are the marginal rays. That means this one. Okay. Now after refraction, all these rays should have to come and focus on the principal axis at a single point. But this is the failure of this image, this is the failure of this lens, that after refraction all the rays are not come to focus on a single focal point on the principal axis, and this is nothing but spherical aberration. So here, in order to understand the spherical aberration, see here, How these aberration? Suppose these are the rays. These are the paraxial rays which come to focus at this point and produce image IP. This is the image which produces by these paraxial rays after reflection, and marginal rays are come to focus to this point. This is the image formed by marginal rays. This is the figure. What I told you, if this is the defect. If this is not the defect, there is no aberration. If there is no aberration, is here all the rays. Sorry. Suppose these are the marginal rays, and this is the, if see here, marginal rays and paraxial rays. These are the paraxial rays, these are the marginal rays. And when all the rays come to focus on a single focal point of the lens, then this is the proper formation of image. But single lens always having the deficiency that it can't give a single point image of a single point object. Suppose this is the single point object, O is the single point object, and there is a defect in the formation of image of this single point. Okay, why this is so? Because paraxial rays and marginal rays cannot focus to a single point. Rather than focusing a single point, paraxial rays are focused and produce image IP away from the lens, whereas marginal rays after refraction come to focus at point IM, produces the image formed by marginal rays. So there are two images along the principal axis. So when we draw the circle here, when we place the screen here, what happens on the screen? Instead of getting the image single point image at here of a single point object, here we will get the image like this. So this is the failure of formation of image, and hence in a single sentence we can say that the failure of a lens to form a point object, to form a point image of a point object is called a spherical aberration. Okay, I am again going to repeat this. The failure of lens to form a point image of a point object is called spherical aberration. In order to understand the definition, consider a lens, and on this is the principal axis, this is the convex lens, single thin convex lens, this is the principal axis. The single point object is situated at point O on the principal axis. As this lens has the large aperture, aperture means the transparent portion through which refraction can take place. Okay, so we are going to consider a lens here which is having large aperture, and this is the principal plane. A point object is situated at point O. Okay, the paraxial rays, these are the paraxial rays, this one shown by this type of arrow, paraxial rays. After refraction meet to a point IP which is away from the lens, while the marginal rays, that is arrow shown by this type of, or ray shown by this type of arrow, After refraction they are meet at point IM near to the lens as compared to IP. Thus, for a given object, the image extend. It does not occur at a single point, but the image extend over the length IM IP. Instead of point image, there is an extended image on this principal axis. Okay, and all the rays are not focused at a single point. The lens does not form a point image of an axial point object. Okay, when we head the screen to this point, suppose AB, when we keep the screen here, if the screen is held perpendicular to the principal axis, it will be seen that the images is not sharp. The image is not pointly sharp. It will be seen that the images is not sharp, but images appear a circular patch like this. A circular patch. The size of circular patch is minimum. Circular patch is minimum at AB, at the position AB, here, AB, where the paraxial and marginal rays are intersect. Here, paraxial rays and marginal rays intersect. Okay. Now, the circular patch of diameter AB is called a circle of least confusion. This patch AB is called the circle of least confusion. Okay. And the radius of the circle is the measure of transverse or along AB. The radius of the circle is the measure of transverse or lateral spherical aberration. The spherical aberration, in spherical aberration, the distance between IM and IP, that means this, is called axial or longitudinal spherical aberration. The spherical aberration, what I say, the distance, that is IM, IP, this distance, IM, IP, is called axial or longitudinal spherical aberration. The spherical aberration arises due to, what I say, this spherical aberration, that may be longitudinal or transverse, arises due to large aperture. When the aperture of the lens is relatively large as compared to the focal length of the lens, different zones of the lens have different lengths. So all the refracted rays do not meet at a single point on the principal axis. Okay, and in this way spherical aberration is produced. Okay, now when problem is arise, obviously there is a solution. When such type of spherical aberrations are arised, then there is always solution so that we can minimize them. Now, spherical aberration produced by a lens can be reduced by different type of methods. What I say, spherical aberrations or spherical aberration produced by a lens can be reduced by different type of methods. Here we are going to see some important method. First one is, here we are going to reduction of spherical aberration. There are number of methods. First one, by reducing the lens aperture. If we reduce the lens aperture, that means if we minimize the aperture of the lens through which the rays are transmitted, then spherical aberration can be reduced. Next method, first by reducing First, by reducing aperture of a lens. Reducing the aperture of a lens. How it is possible? See here in this figure, it is found that spherical aberration is proportional to the height. If from this point height is maximum, then maximum is the spherical aberration. If height of the rays are minimum, then spherical aberration is minimum. So here we can say that it is in this spherical aberration, it is found that the spherical aberration is proportional to h square. Spherical aberration is directly proportional to h square, where h is the height of the rays above the principal axis as well depth of the rays below the principal axis. Therefore, if h is reduced, then its square is also reduced and spherical aberration will be maximum. Remember that spherical aberration is directly proportional to h square, where h is the height of the rays on both the sides of principal axis. And or we can say that instead of h is the aperture length. Suppose this is the transparent area of the lens, then this is the height, or this is the aperture. As aperture is used, square of aperture, we take the square of aperture. If square of aperture goes on increasing, then obviously spherical aberration goes on increasing. So when we reduce the aperture, what happen? The spherical aberration will be reduced considerably. In order to reduce the aperture of the lens, stoppers can be used. That's what, if we use a stopper, suppose if we use the stopper mechanism, that's means if we stop the marginal rays, then spherical aberration is closed. By this way, or when we blacken the aperture, or when we stop this type of paraxial rays, then there is also reduction of spherical aberration. So what happens? Suppose this is the lens, then we can blacken this surface. By blacken this surface, aperture is goes on reduce. Or if this is the aperture, then if we block this type of area like this, and only this is the transparent area through which the rays can be reflected. So by using proper stopper mechanism, we can reduce the aperture, and when aperture is reduced, then spherical aberrations are considerably reduced. Okay, this can be done by blackening unrequired portion like this, or by using angular setter. Thus, use of stop reduces the intensity of cutoff of the light rays. For example, in camera lenses, the marginal rays are cut off by placing a narrow aperture. Okay, now remaining type of methods with their